What is up, world? What is up, world? What is up, world? You are in tune to the Marvelous Podcast, which are the usual suspects, myself and Big G. What's popping, Big G?
Man, what's going on, man? I got 21 days till the moon night, man. I can't wait. 3 weeks and counting.
3 weeks and counting. And then we have our newest member here. We got my man, my mellow, Big Max. What's popping, Max?
Not much. I've been upgraded from like recurring character to I made the main cast. I got like a spot, so I'm excited.
Hey, ain't nothing like getting a real spot. Ain't nothing like getting a real spot, man. But definitely, if you like what you're hearing, make sure that you like and subscribe. When you like us on Facebook, you can subscribe on Twitch and on YouTube. There, every time that we go live, you will have the opportunity to catch us because you will be notified. And before we get into anything, man, we're gonna definitely turn and get into this. And you are in tune to the Marvelous Talk podcast. And man, we're going to start it off. First and foremost, we're going to start in reverse. Before we ever get to any Doctor Strange talk, man, listen, what came out today got us all excited. And that was the Obi Wan trailer, man. The Obi Wan trailer came out, and I am like, just, wow. Over the top, man. Max, what was your first opinion, man, when you saw this, man? Talk to me. How'd you feel when you saw it for the first time?
I mean, we're back at Tatooine, which is basically carrying every Star Wars show and probably like 6 out of the 9 movies. I thought it was great. I just want to see more. And of course, at the end, they tease you with that Darth Vader breathing, and it's just like, what's gonna happen? We all know it's a limited run, and it's just like the story can go 8 different ways, and it just had me. The anticipation's rising for this, and I've been waiting for it for a long time since they said they were gonna make a movie, and then they canceled it because of how bad Solo did. So I'm ready for the show. May 25th, here it comes.
Yeah, man. I think we all were at the same place where you are, and it's funny that you even mentioned Tatooine like that, bro. Like for real, Tatooine has carried I mean, for real, dog. Let's see another place in the galaxy. How is this like the it's the smallest, ugliest, nastiest place, but it's the most important place in the dang galaxy. Come on, man. Can we go a different place?
Too much sand. And it's coarse, like Anakin. Anakin didn't like the sand, neither do I. But let's explore the galaxy.
Big G, man, talk to me. How you feeling about it?
Hey, known fact about Tatooine. Tatooine was a water planet. It wasn't a desert. Some stuff happened and changed Tatooine into a desert. But that's for those deep divers who read comic books and story and folklore about the planet of Tatooine. But yeah, I'm with the galaxy. But the issue is for this, and I really do believe this, and I'm calling my shot now. I think Obi Wan Kenobi might go down top 3 canon Star Wars story in the history of what's going on. I think the storyline, we waited for all the big characters. We waited for everybody to show up. And I think that everybody that we know and love, I'm talking about all the way from a young Luke Skywalker to a young Princess Leia, possible cameo with Yoda, Darth Vader. I'm talking about all these cats is going to be in that movie. So I'm hyped. And if you know the story about Obi-Wan from the comic book canon, you know that there's been some characters that showed up in the Mandalorian series and in the Boba Fett series that's going to be crucial in the storyline of Obi-Wan staying under the radar and still being able to keep Luke Skywalker at arm's length and raise him and keep the Empire from getting. So, yeah.
So let me ask you guys, was there anybody in the trailer that y'all saw that you absolutely recognized and you were like, I'm glad that this person is there? Max, I'm gonna start with you. Was there anybody in the trailer?
Ewan McGregor was definitely one, No, I honestly, I don't even remember seeing anyone other than him. I was just so into it. I saw the the Grand Inquisitor, but I don't know who that actor is because it's just like you have a pound of makeup on. And I like what you said, Big G, about the show and how it has a potential. And it's like one of these rare shows where we all know Obi Wan Kenobi's not dying. We all know his end. So it's a question of how do we get people to invest in this character when we know he's not in any true danger. We know Luke's not in danger. So I think that's going to be the interesting thing about this show. And it might be a lot of flashbacks. It might not be. But how do we, as an audience, get invested when we kind of know the direction of the show? Like, we know the end of all the characters, in a sense.
I like what you said there, Max. I mean, I definitely like what you're saying in that aspect. I think more so than anything, having that good story writing is what you're saying, because we're going to have people buy in to, what is being shown on the actual screen. But man, I can't imagine them not telling a good story. I mean, this is a layup. I mean, you pretty much have all the context clues. You have everything you need to tell a good story. You've got stuff that we know that happened because of, the first Star Wars. So I mean, come on, man. This is easy, man. Now you can just use imagination and kind of Willy Wonka your way through this one, man. A little bit of imagination. We can do it, So I mean, definitely, I'm excited about the story now. Now, for me, I have to say this because you guys are more versed in this universe than I am. Dude, who is the dude with the fish head? Like, who is that? Who y'all were calling the Grand Inquisitor? Is that the fish head dude? Like,
if we're talking about the same guy, then yeah, basically they're not really Sith, they're not really Jedi, they're just Force users who Darth Vader and Sidious trained to go hunt Jedi. Because I think that's going to be a huge thing of this, and you heard it in the trailer, the Jedi code. We are going to hunt Jedi. So I think that's just going to be a huge part of it, is hunting Jedi, and this is the first time we're going to see a show centered around the Jedi.
Right.
So who was the black lady? Who's the black lady with the?
She's another one. There's multiple Inquisitors, but there's like the one guy is the Grand Inquisitor. I think she was in a Star Wars video game called Jedi: The Fallen Order, which I didn't play because I don't have the patience to do puzzles while I'm playing video games.
She was what, but we don't know if she's the sister to the Grand Inquisitor. We don't know which role she's actually going to play as far as that character is concerned. But the issue, like I said, is that we saw, or what we all know, is Order 66. And then after Order 66, the next thing we know, there's no Jedi left except for Obi Wan Kenobi and Yoda, right? But we know for a fact that there's been so many Jedi left and they hid in secret. So then that way, from the Clone Wars and all the other stories we know, Rogue One, and there's a big difference between a Sith and a Jedi and Force-sensitive people. There's a lot of Force-sensitive out there, but they don't make a claim to the Jedi side or the Sith side. So that's just knowing the story in the comic book, to know that there's so many different characters and layers to people who are Force-sensitive.
Yeah. I just didn't know who the fish head dude was,
I mean, Max, I always forget the Wookiee's name. What's his name?
Black Chrysanthemum.
Black Chrysanthemum. So Black Chrysanthemum is huge. I'm spoilers. I'm telling you, Black Chrysanthemum, if you know the comic book story, he is huge with Obi-Wan and the fight to keep Luke alive and how much he worked for Jabba. That guy is going to be huge in this story. So I understand why they brought him in with Boba Fett, because he's big in Obi-Wan. Huge story with him. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. So, all right. Now switching gears, man, moving forward, jumping back in, we have Moon Knight coming. Moon Knight will be here on the 30th. We had the investors meeting that happened, the Disney's investors meeting. And what did we come out of that, you guys? Max, what was one of the things? I mean, wasn't that many, but talk to us about the things that you saw coming from that investors meeting.
Well, I'll talk about one primarily, and it's it's kind of recent for me because I randomly just watched Daredevil on Netflix the other week. I watched the whole season because I knew it was leaving, and they announced Daredevil season 4 is coming out, and apparently it's tied into that, which brings it into the MCU. And then it poses the question: is Luke Cage part of the MCU? Because they all had a crossover. That's a part of it. Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, but that doesn't have to come over. That's cool. That show can stay back. But what's going to happen with Daredevil, a guy who's pivotal, and he had a role in the She-Hulk series that was delayed. And I'm guessing we're going to get a She-Hulk series and then a Daredevil tie-in series.
Max, I agree and roll with it, man, for sure.
And so also in the investors meeting, we had something else pop out. Talk to us about that, G.
Well, they gave the actual timeline for the Disney Plus shows, which, it was all up in the air. They was like, what title goes next and who and when and how does this thing fit together as a puzzle? Well, they gave official storylines or release dates for most of the shows. We know for a fact we're getting Moon Knight March 30th. But then after that, we have Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Then after that, we're going to get Miss Marvel, which I couldn't believe they pushed the production up for it, but it's going to drop June right before Thor Love and Thunder, right? So by the time Miss Marvel ends, we'll be going into Wakanda Forever, Black Panther 2, and then She-Hulk right after it. So the timeline that they put this thing together, that's why I said a couple of weeks ago on the show, man, after March 30th, get ready because they're going to mash the gas on you, man. And you're going to see stuff that, like, you're not, I'm just so excited about some of the subplots and storylines and characters they're going to bring to life on the MCU. This is just going to expand the Marvel universe farther and farther and farther out.
Yeah, I'm excited about it too as well, man, because honestly, we've had to go this big space in between, but in this space in between, guess who's trying to make some moves? And we kind of talked about this on Saturday. We talked about the sparkly dude. Definitely, we had an opportunity to talk about the sparkly dude playing Batman. And the Batman I gave it, if you saw my review, go check Saturday's show. You saw my review. I gave it an 8.5. So let's talk, to Max, man. Max, talk to me. What did you think? You've seen the Batman now, and talk to me about it and give me a rating.
Well, I texted you 8.5 was just the mark I gave it, and it was a good movie. It's a really good movie. It's not The Dark Knight. Heath Ledger's immortal. That performance will never be beat. But I have a question for you guys. Do you think the Riddler kind of won his plan? He just caused like $1 trillion in damage and killed 1,000 people. So he destroyed Gotham.
Yeah,
so
and I agree. But okay, he won by anybody else's standards. By his standard, he did not. You know what I mean?
I don't know what he wants. He just had like a 30-point triple-double in Game 6 of the finals, and they lost by 1. It's like, bro, you still played it great. Like, what do you want?
But I think though too. I think that Edward, his name's not Enigma, but we know he's gonna find out his last name is Enigma. The Edward character of the Riddler, I think it was a setup for what's to come. I mean, this guy, you got to remember, Batman's characters are just as epic or well known as villains as Batman himself. So when you start talking about the depth of the Riddler character and how that's set up, like the Joker and the Penguin and all whatever else, man, this dude is like, he's year one Edward Nigma. He's not the Riddler that we know from the comic books talking about riddle me this and but the outfit and all whatever else. So I think you're going to see some depth to that character. I actually believe that DC is getting to the point where maybe a villain can actually carry a series because their character development is great.
I totally agree. As far as there will be a villain that will carry a series, but they're not there yet. There's some ways away from it. I mean, because Max, was that Two-Face in the cell right next to him?
No, that's supposed to be that's the guy from Eternals, Barry Keoghan. I don't know how to say his name. Is supposed to be Joker. Yeah, he's supposed to be lined up for Joker. Okay. And the Penguin show is greenlit by HBO, so they're going to be making a Penguin show that talks about his rise to power after Falcone's death.
All I know is they actually did him right, makeup wise. They did him right.
Yeah,
See,
my fiance didn't even know that was Colin Farrell. I was like, yeah, it's Colin Farrell. She's like, no way. I'm like, yeah.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
even the guy who played Falcone, Toretto, didn't know that was Colin Farrell in makeup. He thought it was just some rough looking dude.
Yeah, yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I give it an 8.7 though, too, fellas. Y'all say 8.5, I give it 8.7. I think that it can carry. I think Batman can carry and be the Tony Stark of the DCEU. But that's just
Well,
me.
so here's the thing. Here's the thing on that, man. Like the suit was boss. It's the number 2 suit, Batman suit. To me, it was really really good. There were the things that got me were and Max. You know, I'm gonna let you get back to your wrap up of it, man, because you stopped and you asked us a question. But dog, how you take off a bulletproof suit and put it in a backpack? You know what I'm saying? That fast? I don't understand. Like you
He's
put
rich.
it.
He had a week to figure it out. No problem. What do you?
Yeah,
You sound like my mom in the movie. We watch Endgame. She goes, "If half the world's dead, who's making all these cars?" I'm like, "That's your question? That's too far out of the realm of possibility." There's a purple. She goes, "It's phony." I'm like, "There's a purple alien who killed everybody with a glove. That's phony. Come on."
yeah. You're scared about who's making all the cars. You know,
I'm telling you.
listen. But that was one of the things. The other thing is and I think this is the bigger thing. If I have a bigger problem with the movie, he made Bruce Wayne too awkward.
What?
They catered to
What?
the character. Well, the actor's awkward by himself, right? He's awkward. So they catered and the Bruce Wayne, if you look at Bruce Wayne, if you're going to be a good Batman, you have to be an excellent Bruce Wayne. That would be my only point out and caveat. He's a little too awkward, a little too weird.
Ahmad, what do you want? I can't make eye contact.
Yeah, he's like,
I can't cut my hair. My life sucks. I'm like, come on, dude. It ain't that bad.
Second away from being emo, Max. He's a second away from being
No,
emo.
no. He was. I mean, also the movie's lit in like gray, so he looks up. He's like, what? I'm like, bro, come on. Like you're yelling as Batman, but like as soon as you're talking to somebody, you can't like project your voice.
Yeah.
Yo, Alfred doesn't need that abuse too. He's got to file like a lawsuit for like harassment, just physical and mental harassment.
But didn't you like the way they did Alfred in it? I love the way they did Alfred.
It's crazy to see Andy Serkis not like on like basically cocaine like he was in Black Panther, where he's just like screaming about vibranium. So he did a great job. He's a great actor.
Great, bro. Great
job.
But
and Max, I told Maud also too, man, the Pennyworth character, man. If you know the comic books, man, you got to have them Pennyworths in there in some kind of way. So I think they set the Pennyworths up well too. You know, as far as how they're tied to the story. You know.
Awesome.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. So Max, go ahead with yours, man. Talk.
So I had a theory. I ran it by both you before, so it's not your first time hearing it. So Batman's whole thing, as we know, is like I can't kill anybody. I can throw them off the roof and let gravity kill them, but personally, I can't kill a soul. So, like, have you guys ever been to a yogurt place like that gives you like this card and you stamp it like on your 8th time you get a free yogurt? So if you were Batman, I think this would make Batman like 80% more effective as a villain. So like every time you get somebody, right, he'll give them a card, and on like that 10th time, he just snaps their neck and it's like done for them. It's like, hey Joker, if you're on 9, like careful if you mess up right here and I get you, because he's always gonna get them, right? Just snap their neck. Just snap their neck. It's not that hard. Like, how much better would Gotham be off?
Gotham would be in a better place, man. If Batman on the 9th time, on the 9th time, you tell him, hey man, if I see you again, it's on. It's on site. I'm not even going to
maybe not snap their neck, but maybe just like break their spine so they had to be in a wheelchair. So it'd be a lot harder to commit crime in a wheelchair. But I'm just saying, because it's like you got to do something. Like you can't leave There's no way the Riddler walks away from killing 1,000 people and flooding a city.
Right.
There's no way.
Right. But could you imagine like the Joker, the Penguin, Catwoman, Scarecrow, Mr. Freeze, and all of them sitting around and like having a poker game with their yogurt cards? and somebody's saying, "Hey man, I'm about to get everybody's get out of jail freeze. And if y'all, if I win this round, y'all out of here, man. No more crime."
I was saying, like, I'm telling you, Joker might be reformed on the ninth strike. He'd be like, I had a good run, some good times. Like, come on. It's not that bad. Like, come on, Batman. You can do a little better.
I mean, guess what? I might win. I definitely might win on the 7th time. So who knows? On the 7th time, I might not even use my 9. You know what I mean?
I'm telling you. I'm just saying, Batman, you could be more effective. Like Gotham Gotham's so bad. You need to like have the Avengers there full time.
Full time.
Right.
Full time to patrol the streets. It's so bad in Gotham. If they had the Lakers, like no one would go to the games. That's how bad it's in Gotham.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. That's why you had the Hall of Justice in Gotham. You needed it. You need the Super Friends. They
need martial law 24/7 in Gotham, dude. Place is a dump.
Right.
It's a dumpster fire. It really is.
I got a question just to ask you guys. Is there any DC hero that has more villains tied to him than Batman? I mean, Superman's up there too, but man, Batman's got some villains, man, for you, man. There's some villains with Batman.
Well, Batman has the villain, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Like the Joker is
he's the number one.
Notable.
He's the number one. The Joker's number one. And why you tripping, Sean? We've already had that. You said and I have to kind of go back because we had the Joker movie already, right? So we had a villain already carry a movie by himself, the Joker movie. So
we had Catwoman too. Catwoman carried one, but it was a horrible movie. But
I'm gonna tell you something. Zoe Kravitz. She is going to be this generation and the best Catwoman that we've ever had. She's gonna be.
Wow,
yeah,
she's got really stiff competition in Anne Hathaway. And Halle Berry, was that Catwoman?
Anne Hathaway was really good in the Dark Knight series. I thought she was really good. I'm not even going to take anything away from her, but I do believe Zoe can be better, only because of the simple fact that she pulled all of the stunts. They all look believable. She's young enough to take that character and play it more than one time, right? And they can evolve her character to where she's doing all of the things that Catwoman had done. You know what I mean? So I could really see her being a stiff villain, because Catwoman was cold. If you know anything about the comics, Catwoman was cold. I mean, she was cold to the point to where it wasn't just her love interest in Batman that got her away. She was sometimes hand Batman his hat. You know what I'm saying? And that's hard to do. That's really hard to do. And speaking of which, Batman, another thing, one thing I forgot, he was moving the table with his shirt off. They probably should have took him over there to the Marvel camp and got him ready. You know how big kids go to fat camp. They should have took him over there to Marvel camp so he could kind of get some strength behind him. I mean, because he looked like he had scoliosis when he was pushing the table. I was like, man, you look kind of.
He doesn't eat good, Batman. He's not been eating a lot.
Yeah,
it's part of his vibe.
Yeah. They couldn't afford to cut him a check and get him a personal trainer, Ma, so they just had him on an elliptic set, and Peloton. They was like, okay,
probably had rusty weights.
Yeah, in a dark gym somewhere with no lighting, and so they could mask like what he looked like in the mirror.
Like when Rocky loses a fight and they have to take it like all the way back and they have to work out like in the dump, and it's like, oh, that's how they trained him.
Yeah. They brought Apollo Creed in.
Yeah, that's why they need to bring Apollo Creed in to help him get a workout, because that brother was struggling. He was struggling. So listen, we have the Morbius trailer that came out, and Morbius is just a couple of days away. It's right. It will we're gonna get
April 1st.
Moon Knight the 30th, and then 2 days later we'll get Morbius. So what are you thinking about that, Big G? Talk to us about the Morbius, because you're excited about Morbius right
now. I am telling you that this Morbius movie will be the best movie outside of the Marvel universe. I'm thinking outside of the Spider-Man No Way Home. I think this one has got it. They because they sat on it. There's not a lot of rumors out there about it. There's so much character build up. We already know that these guys there's characters that's going to cross over from the MCU in there because we've seen it in the trailer. I think as far as a setup story, origin story, Morbius has got it, man. Morbius. And I'm so anxious to see because there's just no way that you don't cross Morbius over with Blade, with Punisher, with the Midnight Suns. Like, there's just no way he doesn't cross over. So they had to put depth in this character. And I believe they're going to bring him over. I think he's coming over full time, man. I really believe it, man. Because he's a great, this guy, the makeup, the effects, I mean, it's like unbelievable, man. It is unbelievable. You know, for me, that's just my take.
What you think, Max? Talk to me, man.
Why do you think it's not in the MCU?
Because it's still okay, so I've said this before and I'm going to keep saying it. I don't know why Sony is trying to pigeonhole Marvel. You know, I just think that they need to sit down and they start talking about bread, right? And if it's 200 million, 300 million, whatever it takes, man, let Kevin Feige control it all, right? Because they're making these little side movies that I'm not so mad at Venom. Venom's decent, right? But they're making these side movies and they're trying to create their own universe, like as the leech off of the MCU. Man, just go on ahead and let Feige get it, man. Because that character Morbius, now I think Sony did a good job, but I don't think it's an MCU product. They're trying to sell it because I saw it on the posters and the bulletin boards, and they put the big from Marvel and all whatever else. Man, you ain't fooling nobody. This is Sony. You know, we know it, but they did good with the production, you know.
Well, the only reason I asked that question is because we saw Spider-Man's Vulture, Michael Keaton, in the trailer. Mm-hmm. So that's what kind of makes me believe this is in the MCU. Unless you meant like outside the Marvel Studios. And yeah, I agree with you. It has potential to be that.
Yeah, it's definitely outside of Marvel Studios, right? Mm-hmm. But it's still Marvel. It's still in the Marvel universe. They're crossing. Sean, they've already set that premise up. They're crossing the two universes up. So they're gonna make a mix. But to your point, they need to surrender all that to Kevin Feige.
Let him have it, man.
You know, that way the stories can mesh, be intertwined, and definitely have some type of you know, they'll be financially solvent. You know what I'm saying? And actually be relevant to the stories that are being told, canon MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Right. Because think about it. From a standpoint, how much, I mean, Sony's a big company, don't get me wrong, but how much can they really sell their movies versus Marvel and Disney selling it? So I'm saying, okay, like whatever your projection was on this movie, we're going to break you off with that amount. And then everything else belongs to us. And let Kevin Feige drive the car. Because I'm telling you, they can only go so big. I mean, think about it. Sony with Marvel movies would suck if it wasn't for these last 3 Spider-Mans. There was like maybe 2 hitters, you know, out there. 2 of them X-Men movies. Outside of that, Fantastic Four, trash. Some of the other Spider-Mans, trash. You know, so I'm like, man, come on, man. You know, just go on and give it up. Not even the X-Men series. Like I said, just maybe Days of Futures Past and First Class. Outside of that, trash. So just go on ahead and just give it up to Kevin Feige and let him do what he's got to do. That's just my thinking.
I 100% agree. I think the reason Sony, there's no trust when it comes to Sony. And for everything Sean just said, a crappy X-Men movie, crappy Wolverine movie. The last Wolverine I like, Logan was cool, but just too much crap and too little good. And Marvel's built up a trust where we take a movie that would probably be the best Sony movie. Say Eternals was made by Sony, be the best one outside of Spider-Man. And we're just like, it's not even that good. And people, I don't agree with that, but people like the consensus is it's eh. So that's how high the Marvel bar is, and that trust is they can make a movie about a character like Ant-Man, who's not like a mainstream character, Guardians of the Galaxy, and make them hit.
And make it good. And make it relevant to the MCU. And it's not only relevant to the MCU, it's good. Right?
Exactly.
It's a movie that you will watch. Like Ant-Man ain't, you know, it's not like one of the top Marvel movies, but it's entertaining. You know what I'm saying? Our worst movie, Captain Marvel. The worst, our worst movie.
Yours.
Max, what's the worst movie? He's on this Captain Marvel thing.
Anything in the Iron Man film series is worse than that, or Thor:
That's
Dark
what I'm
World.
trying to say. Or you throw all three of the Iron Mans down the toilet.
Iron Man 1 you can keep just out of respect for Tony.
Yeah.
Iron Man 3, where he's not even an Iron Man suit for half the movie. Come on.
Right, man.
Beatbox. No.
Hey, them Iron Mans was hot trash, bro.
Hey,
I feel you, but they was trash.
I've watched all of them over. Ask me how many times I've watched Captain Marvel. Ask me.
How many times?
Once.
Me too. But I liked it. I actually thought it was a good movie. I don't know why you're hating on it.
Ask me how many times I watch it ever in my life. Ask me. Come on. Ask me.
I'm not gonna entertain your blasphemy that you're spitting out.
Bro, you got the Miss Marvel. You have the Miss Marvel TV show coming out. You have the Marvels movie coming out. Doc, and there's some like Nova's gonna tie into this, and there's gonna be some, and maybe Adam Warlock, maybe the High Evolutionary.
I didn't like the movie. They made.
What was your big problem with it? Was it the fact Samuel Jackson had two eyes?
No, Samuel Jackson is never the problem. I think I don't like Brie Larson. I think that's what that is.
I'm not the biggest fan of her, but she's all right, I guess.
I don't like her as an actor. Think she tries to act too much like she's Liam Neeson, and she's not. Like you're not. I mean, you're not bad. Like for real. I get how you trying to act tough because you're flying and you going through the universe and whooping folks. You got some nice little gifts, but
So do you think if that movie had someone not named Brie Larson, you think it's a really good movie?
No, I'd still. And the other thing is the story. I don't like the story. I don't like the story.
You didn't like Jude Law?
I like Jude Law, but I did not like the story that they told. The story that they told was whack. It was that's the only Marvel movie I've ever fell asleep in.
Wow. First of all, you're a hater. Second, Jude Law is awesome. As a man with a receding hairline like Jude Law, we have to stick by him. So I support Jude Law.
So this is the thing, you got to remember. So the only part of Captain Marvel that I didn't like was the fact of them not giving homage like how they should have for Marvel. They made Marvel into not what it was in the comic book. So I think if they would have developed the Marvel issue with it, it would have been better as a story because Marvel was huge in Captain America, So she was actually Miss Marvel. She was Miss Marvel first before she was Captain Marvel.
I don't even know how we got it. I don't even know how we got on this subject. Let's get off of her. She's depressing me. I'm literally physically I'm starting to go to sleep thinking about that movie right now. It's like, depressing. The next thing that we have to talk about after the Morbius, we definitely got, with Moon Knight coming, and then we found out some interesting things about Doctor Strange that turned out to not be rumors. But there is a rumor that's going around that's interesting, and I don't see how they can pull this off. I got to talk to my comic book dude, Big G. We got to talk about this, man. And then Max, I know you're gonna have something to say about this. They're saying that, and we saw this. We looked at the picture. We had Jonathan Majors side by side to the 8K picture right there that we saw, and they looked a lot alike. So that's who I'm saying this character is, the glowy flying figure, a pre-version of Kang the Conqueror, Kang who's new or the good person, good Kang. But they're saying that this is Blue Marvel.
Nah.
What do you think about this? Do you think that this could be Blue Marvel? Gee, and tell me why not. I got my reason why, and I'll tell you guys after you and Max are. But why do you think it is or it isn't Blue Marvel?
I'll go 20%. 20% maybe. And the reason why is because that could explain why he's not in our current MCU. Like he got banned to another dimension, or they put him in something so he couldn't break loose. Because Blue Marvel is the equivalent basically of Superman. There's two characters, the Sentry and Blue Marvel, that are equivalent to Superman. So I know Wanda's powerful, but man, her and Blue Marvel's gonna go at it. It's gonna get ugly. So that I'm like, nah, but it could be. I'm still banking on this being a superior, a version, not the actual comic book accurate, but a version on superior Iron Man. I'm thinking this is Kang. This is either Iron Lad from the future that comes back and he's like trying to manipulate the Council of Kangs and all whatever else. So this is like Nathan Richards Nathan Richards, or this is superior Iron Man, but in a Kang rendition. That's just what I'm thinking. Blue Marvel maybe 20% because he's too big of a character. Why would you bring him out like that? Come on, man. So he can get hauled out by Wanda. Come on, man. That ain't gonna work.
So what do you think? What do you think, Max?
I agree with Big G on that. That I think it's more likely Iron Man, but I feel like with this movie specifically, if you start exploring everything and think you're just gonna look like a fool down the road. Because like I've told you, and we've had discussions on this pod about it. The reason Doctor Strange is so pivotal to this franchise, to this movie, and just the Marvel MCU as a whole is he's a game changer. It's the first time it's like, oh, now there's magic in the MCU. Now we're going to have the multiverse really in the MCU. So every time he steps in, everything changes. And that's why I think Kevin Feige gave him and Benedict Cumberbatch the keys to the MCU car, and they're going to go as far as he can take them.
Yeah, I mean, he's this dispensation of Iron Man. Doctor Strange is our Iron Man in this movie. You know what I mean? So and I totally 110% agree. But why do you think that it's not Blue Marvel though?
I just don't think you're going to bring a character that strong, and in this movie, I feel like a character like that is kind of like a ace in your sleeve. You kind of just got to wait. And when things get real bad, that's when he comes and bails you out.
Yeah, I agree.
I can feel that. And so the reason, and y'all kind of hit my reason. Kevin Feige, first and foremost, don't just halfway introduce characters. He'll just throw them, which is why we didn't get Adam Warlock, right? They introduced him, but we didn't have enough time to give story or background on him. So that's why they didn't just throw him in here, right? Which we were supposed to have him, but they rewrote him out, and I'm glad about that. So I don't think that you put Blue Marvel in here real quick and be like, hey, Blue Marvel and Wanda, they finna have a fight scene, and that's what it is. Yeah, nah, I mean, I mean, because then what you're doing with his power is you're dumbing his power down, and I don't like that at all either.
Well, what they could do is it could be him. They have a fight, and somehow he gets trapped back into where he was, and then it's like he's just there. And in the back of all our heads, we're like, well, we know where he is. When are they going to go get him?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a million ways to do it. It's Doctor Strange. I mean, a million scenarios, like he said in the Time Stone when they were fighting Thanos. There's a million ways this thing could go.
14,605,000 all day and night.
And you know what's crazy about that, Max, is that you're right. Everybody was chasing Mephisto for a long time on WandaVision. They were chasing Mephisto. Now we probably are gonna have some Dormammu stuff here, and ain't nobody really even saying anything about it. But hey, it kind of is what it is. But Dormammu's sister, they're saying that in the post-credit scene, he wakes up third eye. Dormammu's sister is calling to him, and Dormammu's sister is the reason why we're not gonna have Wong be such a prominent character in Doctor Strange moving forward. What do you think about that? I need to hear what you think about that, G. Talk to me.
I think it's 100% accurate. I mean, you can't have Doctor Strange without Clea. I mean, what are you talking about? Clea is probably just as much as the Doctor Strange storyline as Doctor Strange is himself. So Clea, and she's already been cast. So you have to have, that's probably 150% accurate. That Clea is going to show up in one capacity or another. Because, so let me just give the backdrop on this. And I'm pretty sure Max and Mod knows. The Eye of Agamotto that Doctor Strange kept the Time Stone in is probably the most powerful relic that exists in the MCU and in the comic book. Agamotto was the Sorcerer Supreme that was battling like Chthon in a Darkhold. Like Agamotto was off the hook. So if Doctor Strange now is going to show up with the third eye and be talking to Clea and able to have the ability to go in and out of dimensions and stuff like that, it makes all the sense in the world because, like how Max already said, he's driving the keys to the car. So you got to give him that ability to be able to go in and out of different worlds and all whatever else. And like I said, Clea is a beast. You know, Clea ain't nothing to play around with. Let's just say that. You know, and she's way more aggressive than Strange.
Like Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to mess with.
And Wu-Tang, yeah, I can't say the other word. But Wu-Tang, yeah, she's like that. Like, she ain't nothing to play around with, man. Clea's no joke. You know, so that's just my take, you know.
Max, what you think?
One, I want to apologize for using the metaphor of Doctor Strange driving a car because I think we know how that ends, just in general.
Yeah.
But I think you're 100% right, G. Not to sound like a broken record, but Clea is just such a huge part of it, especially part of the magical community in the MCU and her power. And Doctor Strange has been the driving force, and now he kind of needs some money with him, and they're kind of using Wanda like that for this movie. And moving forward, Wong's cool, but Wong's kind of a butler. You know, he's just like comic relief. And I don't think it'll kind of suck when he's gone. Like the best Wong we ever got was in Shang-Chi when he's fighting Abomination. So I think it's just going to be an overall like step in the right direction. Not that Wong's bad, but Wong doesn't upgrade the ceiling of Doctor Strange in that sense.
He doesn't take it to the next level. You're absolutely
exactly perfectly said.
You're absolutely right, man. You're absolutely right, dude. I get it. I get it. So overall, man, before we get out of here, we have some parting shots. Definitely, G. We're gonna get your parting shot, but we're gonna get Max's parting shot first, man. Max, what you got for me for a parting shot for this week?
Way to catch me when I was least expecting it. I don't know. Pass. Big G, go ahead. I'm gonna come back.
But all right, cool. So rabbit hole news. You know, I always try to close out with rabbit hole unless I give a shout out to somebody. Rabbit hole news, straight up. Go and research it yourself. Marvel is going to release deleted scenes from certain shows and certain movies that's coming out in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Today, we got the spoiler drop that Deadpool was actually in Shang-Chi, and he was the deleted scene. Deadpool was actually fighting in that tournament, and he was actually in one of those cages fighting. So how in the world can and this is canon Marvel. This ain't like made up. Deadpool is actually already in the MCU. So I'm super hyped about how they're going to and twist with this character.
So Deadpool, I seen that picture, but I don't know if it's 100% accurate. I did.
Oh, it's 100%. It's 100%.
Yeah, you've been in the rap. I did see the picture though. I see the picture. He was getting it in. He was getting it in. Max, parting shot.
I'm excited for your Obi Wan Kenobi, the show. I know it's not really Marvel, but it's Disney-ish. So I'll classify it as this. Star Wars needs a win because I wasn't impressed with Boba Fett towards the end. There were some moments, but as an overall, it was a little disappointing. So with Star Wars aspect, they need a win because the MCU is going on all cylinders. It's going strong. And we're going to see where Morbius takes us. And I think Morbius is going to be kind of like a Doctor Strange. As a character, he's not, as game-changing. But his movie, what it means with vampires moving in, like you said, Punisher and Midnight Suns, it's going to change him.
See, Max, Max, I wish I could throw it through the thing to get you. You're hitting right on it. And I have been saying from the very beginning, G knows I've been calling vampires. I said, hey, man, they're getting dark because they're about to bring Dracula into the MCU. That's going to happen, right? You know, and the fact that they have to bring Dracula in. I mean, if they don't bring Dracula, what's the use of having Blade?
Exactly. And we finally have a Blade who's going to be a really good Blade.
Hey, but listen. And I'm serious now. You can't have vampires. You can't have the Darkhold without vampires, werewolves, warlocks, witches. The Darkhold's here. Chatan is here. I called it. I'm sticking to my story. Chatan is the big bad for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. You're going to see them fight in the basement of Wendigo Mountain. But you can't have that. So if you're going to introduce the Darkhold, you got to have vampires, werewolves. You got to have it all.
I think G he likes hearing himself say Wendigo Mountain. He loves it. Every show.
Hey,
Wendigo Mountain.
I want 2 thumbs up and a standing ovation when it goes down after we go watch the movie on Thursday night when it releases. I want 2 thumbs up and a standing up because I'm telling you, I'm calling. I'm on it. I'm on it. I'm telling you, they're gonna be fighting at Wendigo. Believe me.
Listen. So, when are we gonna get Obi? That's the thing. I forget when.
May 25th, baby.
May 25th. Okay. All right. So we're gonna get it in May. So we're getting it the same month as we getting Doctor Strange.
Correct. Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't say anything about my blade reference I made about one blade being good, the other one sucking.
I had to cut him off, Max. I had to cut him off because I knew where he was going. Man.
Shots fired. The original Blade is none other than Wesley Snipes. I'm shooting shots. It's him.
Real can I add something to my parting shot real quick? So earlier I mentioned Luke Cage might be in the MCU. So in Luke Cage, the character Cottonmouth is played by the same actor who's going to play Blade moving forward. So I wonder if Luke Cage will be in the MCU because that's a little strange. I guess they could say it's a different universe, but season 4 Daredevil building off it's kind of weird.
Well, I think they're going to CGI Luke Cage. I think they're going to kill the guy that played him. I don't think that's the new character moving forward. I think they're going to CGI him because look, Power Man is huge. He's up there like with the Hulk thing and stuff. This is a big thing.
They didn't CGI. They didn't CGI your boy.
Kingpin.
They didn't CGI.
Well, I mean, he was just a little husky. You know, it was subtle.
He was huskier, but they didn't CGI him. I hope they CGI She-Hulk. Lord, please.
All day and night.
I just want them to paint. I wanted them to paint her green. Go back to the roots.
Oh man, I'll be so mad.
They've already showed you trailer. So the actor herself is 5'4", 5'5". They already said she's going to be 6'7", 6'8" in the thing. So there's no way you can take this character from being 5'4" to 6'8" without CGI. They're going to CGI to an extent, but they have to because you got it. You got the Thing coming. You have Red Hulk coming. You got the rewritten Abomination. You're going to have Power Man. You got to have these huge characters, man. So they're going to CGI her, man.
You don't need CGI to make someone look taller. Just ask Vin Diesel in every Fast and Furious movie. So somehow he ends up being the same height as The Rock.
Yeah. Listen, I'm just going to tell you, hey, Kwame is his cousin, so he can do whatever he wants to. You know what I'm saying? Kwame is his cousin, the rhythm. Hey, so my parting shot is a little different. Now that we have Max as a part of the team, I'm gonna do these things. When we were together and Max asked us, who would win certain battles, I'm gonna ask you guys if you could have any power. This is our parting shot. We're leaving on this. If you could have any power, any one, but you can only have one out of the MCU universe,
the current MCU, or like the whole.
So we can't have DC powers?
No DC powers.
Okay, because I was going to take Bruce Wayne's money, but I guess not.
No DC powers. But if you could have any power out of the MCU, what would it be?
So I can't have a comic book character. I can't have nobody that's in there yet. They have to actually been on screen or been on TV.
Oh.
They have to. This is MCU. See, I would have took Silver Surfer, but he hadn't been introduced yet. We're talking about MCU. Any power of somebody in the MCU right now.
Max, you got first crack. Go ahead. You got first crack. I'll give it up to you. First crack. You pick the guy.
I wanted to be funny, but I can't think of anyone like that would be really stupid. I mean, Hawkeye's power of hearing is pretty good, but my favorite superhero of all time, Spider-Man. I know that's such a lame take, but you know what? Give me Ego's powers. I'll make a planet. I'll be a god.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no offense. I guess I don't
Ooh.
know. I thought that was creative.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right. So
Mm.
you'll run around spreading your seed, huh?
Oh,
You just gonna run
yeah.
around spreading your
I'm a
seed.
plumber part time, so yeah.
Any power, G.
Hulk. Gotta go with him, man. The Incredible Hulk, Bruce Banner.
Which one?
Because he's all in one. We just ain't seen him power up yet. You know,
but I'm just saying, which one do you want?
World Breaker.
You want? Well, he's not there yet. So you want Smart
So
Hulk,
Professor Hulk?
Professor Hulk?
Nah, he's a scrub. He's a scrub. I need the Rage Monster because the Rage Monster can turn into the World Breaker. So I'm going with the Rage Monster, man. I want the guy
Sean,
that says, "Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry."
Honestly, Sean, right now you're like the Hulk when he can't get out in Infinity War. He's like, no.
Yeah, let me out. Let me out. He's like, no.
Yeah, y'all really want to know? I mean, for real, and it's just because of the gadgets and the gadgets in the suit.
Ant-Man?
It's Black Panther, man. I mean, honestly, I would take, I'll take that all day, every day, twice on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the suit is indestructible. I mean, you can't break it. And plus it absorbs power. So the Hulk can hit me. I'll just, take that one and throw it back towards him. I'm be all right.
Man, the Hulk is gonna punch you to outer space, man.
You can come live on my planet whenever you get launched to outer space.
Yeah, he's gonna punch. The Hulk is gonna punch you to ego.
Yeah, I promise I won't give you a tumor in your head. I promise.
Hey, listen, man, that was it, man. That's our show for tonight, you guys, man. Definitely, thank you for rocking with us. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Like the content on Facebook. Definitely, you can like it on YouTube as well, and subscribe on YouTube and Twitch. Definitely, we're here for you and yours. We will be back Saturday morning where we get it in, and we're going to definitely dive into some more characters. I really want to explore Obi Wan more than we actually did, so we're probably going to even get into that and some more of the Star Wars world on our Saturday morning show. But for myself, for Big G, and for Max, we are out of here. Peace.